Hello. Today we're going to examine a very interesting subtlety that you can apply in your programs. To start with, we'll quickly review the dice program. If you recall, in this exercise we defined the dice class in order to define instances of this class and represent various dice faces. We defined a class called dice handle. Then we implemented the plus method on the dice handle class to add dice handles and construct a new dice handle. This is the code for this class. We have dice handle new. We create a new dice handle, to which we add the dice of the receiver class and the setting, and we return this handle at the end of the method, okay? In this sequence, we will see the difference in this plus method between writing dice handle new and self-class new, and we'll see why one technique is better. Here is the problem. If I create a dice handle subclass called memo dice handle, and I want to add memo dice handles with the plus method, which is inherited from dice handle, the result is an instance of the dice handle class, not of the memo dice handle class. This is a problem because when we add elements, we want to get the same type of element back. How do we do this? Solution number 1. I change the implementation of the plus method on the dice handle class, the plus method, okay? And I simply add this method, self-handle class. Instead of defining the instance variable I wish to obtain, I use a method that I call handle class. In dice handle, the dice handle class is returned, and in the memo dice handle subclass, memo dice handle is returned. So by simply redefining the handle class method, we obtain the correct instance when we add elements. If we execute the same code using memo dice handle instead, we get an instance of memo dice handle because I redefined the handle class method. In the memo dice handle class, we got an instance of the subclass, so we attained our objective. The problem is that each time we add a subclass to dice handle, we must redefine the handle class method. If you don't, the plus method will never return the correct class instance. This is tedious. You must constantly redefine the method. There are better ways. Here's solution number 2. Using the plus method in dice handle, this time we will write self-class new. I'll ask the current receiver for its class in order to get an instance. In fact, self-class always returns the class of the receiver. If it's the instance of a subclass, it will return the correct class. For example, memo dice handle. We get instances of the same kind as that of the receiver. As a conclusion, as you saw, when you send a message plus to a dice handle, if you set the name of the class you want an instance for, in a sense, you prevent yourself from creating subclasses. But with self-class new, plus returns an instance of the receiver, of the potential subclass. So it's much better to use self-class new to directly get an instance of the class according to the type of receiver.